Okay, so an update to the Moscow raids of the LGBTQ clubs in Moscow. Gay club bleh, gay club goers found guilty of hooliganism following Moscow raids. I'll take things that didn't happen for 1,000. I highly doubt that it was the club goers that were the hooligans. The police, maybe. But let's see what this article says. As many as a dozen individuals rounded up at gay clubs in Moscow this past weekend have been found guilty of hooliganism by a Russian court and sentenced to administrative detention. I'm afraid to know what that is. 3 clubs were raided by Russian security forces Saturday night into Sunday morning as part of measures to combat LGBT propaganda, according to reporting by the Russian state-run TASS news agency. The raids occurred at least 3 nightclubs in the Russian capital, including Arma, Inferno, and Mono. Video of the incident shows heavily armed men shouting orders at clubgoers seated on the floor with their hands over their heads. Okay, if you're going to try to show people that you're not thugs, maybe not treat it like an armed robbery. Alright. Okay, why isn't this moving? Young men at the Mono nightclub were handed military draft notices by police, according to one source who spoke with the news outlet Vyorska. So, I guess they're also looking for people to fight in Ukraine? Okay. A statement from the Lefortovo District Court in Moscow said the detained clubgoers were found guilty of petty hooliganism and disrupting the public order. Someone's petty, all right, but I don't think it was the partygoers. All right. These citizens committed an administrative offense which was expressed in obvious disrespect for society, accompanied by obscene language in a public place, the statement read. Right, because if someone were to use obscene language in a straight nightclub, you would totally arrest them. I totally believe that. Good God. The raids coincide with the 1-year anniversary of Russia's designation of the LGBTQ+ movement as an extremist organization. Russians found guilty of extremism face up to 12 years in prison. Independent news website Mediazona reported the detained clubgoers were arrested for up to 15 days for administrative offenses, including swearing at Russian security forces. That was probably justified, according to the court's website. Telegram channel Baza reported security forces blocked the club exits at Arma for 3 hours as they interrogated patrons and detained dozens. During the operation, police seized electronic devices, weapons, and alcohol. Let's see what this is saying. Okay. During the same raid, the director of a travel agency for gay men was arrested for organizing tours for members of the LGBT community, according to Moscow Times. So he was arrested for doing the job that he is advertising. Cool. The crackdown follows a pattern of government-sanctioned harassment directed at the LGBTQ plus community after President Vladimir Putin's government outlawed the so-called international LGBT movement in Russia last year. Putin has also instituted successfully broader anti-LGBTQ plus propaganda laws since 2013. Raids and arrests at LGBTQ plus clubs have become commonplace across the country. In November, Russian legislators approved 2 new laws directed at promoting traditional family values. One amends the current prohibition of propaganda of non-traditional sexual relations or preferences or gender reassignment to include outlawing the promotion of not having children. Okay, let's see here. I've mentioned previously what the hell is traditional family values. Non-traditional sexual relations. Okay, what would that be exactly? And or preferences. Whatever that means. I guess swingers? I honestly have no idea what that means. Or gender reassignment. So it's not surprising they're going after trans people as well. And including outlawing the promotion of not having children. I'm going to guess that nobody's actually promoting that. Well, probably anti-natalists are, but there's not that many of those. No, I'm pretty sure this is just like they consider the LGBT plus community to be a movement and extremist. They probably consider promotion of not having children just simply people who choose not to have children. Because there are people who don't want to have children. There are straight people who don't want kids. There are gay people who don't want to have kids. There are asexual people who don't want to have kids. They're just people who don't want to have kids. For whatever reason, they aren't interested in having kids. So, how is that promoting shit? The same way it's promoting in the same way that anything else is promoted just by existing. Straight people exist, that's a promotion. Gay people exist, that's a promotion. Trans people exist, that's a promotion. Oh wait, they don't consider it a promotion if it's straight people or cis people, because apparently being normal is not a promotion, which makes 0 sense. The other law bans citizens of countries that allow gender transitioning from adopting Russian children. Again, all countries allow gender affirming care. Now, this article now says gender transitioning. Previously, I saw gender affirming care. Those are not the same fucking thing. Either they're banning adoption from countries that accept that trans people exist, or they're banning from countries that have gender affirming care, which again is everyone. I'm sure that it happens in Russia as well, because again, gender affirming care is not just for trans people. 12 countries currently outlaw all forms of gender transition, including Russia. Well, there's a shock. So that is the end of that article. As I keep mentioning from my articles on the Moscow raids, I hope that the LGBT plus community in Russia stays safe, stays strong, and hopefully you guys will outlive the asshole who's currently the dictator that's currently in power. Because that It's the only way that any change will happen. Again, I don't know about the actual climate of Russia, so I don't know if most people actually agree with the anti-LGBT plus sentiment, or if this is just Putin being what some people would consider a closet case. So I'm not going to go off and say, oh, he must be secretly gay. I don't play that game. But there are some people who have posited that he's a closet case because of how vehemently anti-LGBT he is. Maybe there's something to it. There have been cases of that happening. But it could just also be that he's just a thin-skinned, low self-esteem individual. And by low self-esteem, I mean that he's easily bruised, like the fact that he's short. The idea that he's not comfortable in his own skin, so he has to attack people who are comfortable in theirs. So yeah, all I can keep hoping is that the LGBT plus community in Russia and what looks like specifically Moscow stays safe, they stay strong, and hopefully he'll eventually fade away. Like I said, I really wish someone who's terminally ill could get close to him and attempt to push him out of a window. Because it sounds like he's not dying anytime soon from natural causes, which is a shame. Anyway, with that, I will see you guys in the next video.